I'm John Goodman. Welcome to Comoro Island.
Magnificent.
What a nice surprise it is when you go and see a big creature feature and then Charles Dance turns up in a monster movie.
Well, that's nice of you to say so. Thank you very much.
Are you a monster movie guy? Is that something that appeals to you as a viewer?
I was a monster movie guy, I reckon, when I was about 18 and 19. I think I've moved on a bit now. But, you know, you'd have to be a pretty tough cookie not to be impressed by what's been created in this film, really. I mean, what we can do now with CGI, you know, and digital enhancement is mind-boggling, you know? I mean, you think that when Godzilla was first made, and in fact, did you know that this is the 35th?
35, that's a hell of a legacy.
35, it's a hell of a legacy. But when it was first done, you know, it's kind of guys in rubber suits being photographed from extraordinary angles. But now I act to a pink balloon that is tethered some 30 feet up in the air and try to look convincingly terrified when I'm looking at this pink balloon, because when eventually you see the thing put together and you see what I've had in my mind, it's a pretty terrifying thing, actually.
So which monster movies made an impression on you then when you were into that sort of stuff? Do you remember seeing some of the older...
Yes, I can remember a film, I think it was called The Creature from the Black Lagoon. And I think I saw that at Saturday Morning Pictures. You know what Saturday Morning Pictures was?
I don't know.
This is in the days when if you had a television, if you were lucky enough to have a television, there were probably 2 channels on it. Saturday Morning Pictures, your local Odeon, ABC, Gaumont, whatever, between, I think, 10 in the morning and 12:30, it was Saturday Morning Pictures for children and young teens, basically. And there'd be a feature, there'd be a comedy, and there'd be some ads. And there would also be, I mean, there'd be songs as well. And the lyrics of the song would be on the screen with a little ping pong ball going along so it would help you read it. So you get that off to a good start. Then there'd be maybe a cartoon, then the feature, or the feature and a comedy. I can remember I first saw Laurel and Hardy films at Saturday Morning Pictures. And also, when you got just a little bit older, then the beginnings of courtship would be going on in the background. And then a man would come along with a torch and say, hey, pack that up, stop that. Yeah, it was great, Saturday Morning Pictures.
So were you there taking dates to see Creature from the Black Lagoon?
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing. And so in Godzilla, King of the Monsters, you're Jonah Allen, you're collecting monster DNA, you're a sort of bioterrorist in a way. And you're working with Vera Farmiga, who she is an amazing screen presence. What was it like working with her? What can you tell me about that?
Vera's terrific. I've never met her before. She's wonderful. She's a hoot. And we both have, I mean, there's something happened. I mean, did you say I can swear on this?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, right, okay. There is a machine that basically she has kind of invented that will actually send out radio waves that will influence the behavior of these creatures, and it's called the orca. So we're talking about, you know, the orca, turn the orca on, get the orca going. And there was a point where she says to me, but what about the orca? To which in the script it's, you know, never mind the orca, we've moved on from there. And I just thought, you know, I've done it. I said, well, fuck the orca. And also the orca became Majorca. Are we going to go to Majorca? There's the orca. So we had a lot of fun.
Sadly, I don't think the fuck the orca moment quite made it into the final cut.
No,
but hopefully, maybe we'll see it on the DVD.
Yeah.
You never know.
But I had some T-shirts printed for the crew,
Did
just
you?
saying "fuck the orca." Yeah.
I mean, your character gets a sort of an ice cold entrance as well.
Yes.
You kind of swagger in and shoot a bunch of people. And do you relish that kind of moment when you see it in the script? Do you think, that's what I want to do?
Yeah, it's nice to have a good entrance. And a good ending, if you know. I mean, I've died in so many things that I've done, not least in Game of Thrones recently.
Yes.
You know, died on the toilet, shot by my ungrateful son after all I'd done for him. You know, villains tend to be a bit more fun than good guys, really, because you get the opportunity to say and do things to people that you've perhaps thought about doing, but, you know, really wouldn't ever do.
Yeah, I mean, you've got so many iconic lines. You think of something like Last Action Hero, if God was a villain, he'd be me, or you call someone a stupid spaghetti slurping cretin at one point. Do those lines stay with you? Do they stay in your head? Those really delicious...
Yeah, those two especially. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, indeed. I've done a couple of fan conventions, you know, and people come up and, you know, they want your signature on a photograph, but they remember, like, there's a line they remember from Game of Thrones, is the Lannisters always pay their debts. I've written that out so many times, I go, I possibly forget it. Yeah.
That's such an
I mean, you know, if the parts are well written, then they are great fun to play, of course.
Do you feel like that's possible to ever have, like, a movie, like a monster movie with miniatures and suits ever again, or is it just we passed that point?
I mean, I think we could.
Yeah.
It would definitely be a very conscious aesthetic choice at this point, especially because our brains and eyeballs have gotten so used to the realism of CG. Whether you could do it and make it a serious giant monster film, I don't know. You could easily do, you know, man in suit process again if you wanted to do something more fanciful or stylized or, you know, comedic maybe. But I think it's a worthy experiment for some future Godzilla fan / director to take on.
Do you ever see yourself going back to the Monsterverse?
Yeah, I mean, anything is possible.
Yeah.
I love the idea of the film series continuing. I love the idea of taking this into television. You know, I feel like the world that we've left this film on definitely has a lot of different implications that are worth exploring both on the big screen and on the small screen.